This is the morning after with your boy Reuben Mofokeng. And today we are having one of the women. They are doing so much in terms of community work. They are doing so much in terms of empowering girls, empowering Batubabo Me. As we celebrate the month of women, we thought it would be a great honor to sit here today and sit with a woman who has an MBA, making education fashionable indeed, making sure that the structure of families is being restored again. In doing so, we are in partnership with Dinako Premium Wines, and today we have this sweet rose bottle for her to say, you know what, we know that you are not like us whereby we sip once in a while the bottle, but let us give you this so that once you feel like let me refresh and have something nice, at least I can have Dinako wines. So shout out to Ospuleng for making sure that we have this token of appreciation for Mayor Victorious Masoha. So we will be having a conversation with Mayor Victorious Masoha, who is the managing director of many businesses. I wonder where she gets the time. She manages Victorious Girls. She's also the managing director of Kingdom Way Ambassador, a president of Kingdom Ambassador movement. She's doing so many things. So stay tuned and sit with us as we explain and study her and figure out where she gets the time for doing all of these things and what is it that we can expect moving forward. Welcome to the show. This is Reuben Mofokeng. As we normally say it on the morning after. So on the morning after, we have this thing that we are starting each and every August. We want to celebrate women, and we are starting with you. Yes. Because I feel like you are one of the women and I'm sure if I was a woman, Linda was gonna say, hey, I want to be like Memasu. So doing so, we also have Dinako came on board. They said we will sponsor the show for the entire month and we'll give out wine each and every episode. So this is a special episode because we've got visuals. We have the wine here and we are here. So how we normally do it is that on the show we call someone and then we talk to them whether they are doing business, whether they are DJs. So Ospuleng said to us, so Puleng is the director and owner ya Dinako Wines, but she calls herself the general worker. Okay. So I told her, Norman, there's this lady that I think she's phenomenal. She's been doing amazing work. Now I personally knew her from work. She was my manager at finance. I remember I told the submanis would think, hey, and I knew you are a very disciplined person or manager or senior at work, because even though totally certain things, you have this way of calming us down and making us believe it's all right, okay, but and then Kotek Male, I saw like in terms of career how driven you are, and then in terms of academics as well. You have an MBA. Wow. She's heavy, this lady. And then I also saw you call Mrs. South Africa, and I'm like, there's so many things. Then I got to know again about Victorious Girls, which is a foundation as we go. So now I think you are one of the women that needs to be recognized. And this stage earlier on, I think maybe Hanako if he somewhere to say, okay, this lady has touched so many girls' lives, whether directly, because now I believe the idol someone, and we don't always get a chance to when Sister V, you are doing amazing. So today on the show we have Mayor Victorious Masoha, and that Masoha Chinchilas fans. Hey,
And now he's getting all the benefits. So like Victorious Masoha with the MBA, it's no longer my maiden surname. So.
Exactly. Remember the other time my wife with a cum laude, mine has an MBA. I think maybe we can start with that in terms of, because I think where you are right now has to do with what you know, what you've learned, and your background in terms of education. So if you can just take us from inception on how it started. Did you see or you will end up here? Did you love numbers na quick or fair? Because that's where you are in terms of the numbers. It's been difficult. Rona can say physics and in report still. So the numbers in the rebellion so it's better that side. So if you can just take us through on the academics and then after that then you can explain or to someone or something be Masoha ke ma ma hle ne re qale ka education because re batla we etsa be fashionable.
Wow. Indeed, education is fashionable. You know that old saying, bugging education is the key to success. I always say education is still the key to success. It will never change. With education, you can truly transform your life. So where it all started, I remember go primary school. I was very good in mathematics. I think I had the best teacher, one of the best teachers that taught us mathematics. I even forgot her name. But then I went to high school. Even in high school, you know, I loved numbers. I loved to solve for X and Y. How to solve for X.
It's very rare.
It's rare, yes. Yes, but I love to solve for X. I love to solve for Y. So even when it came to the time where I had to choose my subjects, I then chose accounting. Because accounting, you deal with numbers, and I've always loved that, like accounting, economics, mathematics. So when I went to varsity, I actually did not know what I wanted to study. So when I got there, I sat with the subject advisor, who then said, you know what, you are actually good in accounting, then how about you pursue a qualification in accounting? So that's how I then obtained my degree in management accounting. And then after that, I felt like, you know what, I mean, after 3 years of varsity,
after that 3 years, you're like, I know.
No.
I need a break. Yes, something in terms of education.
So then I then started to work. But then, you know, when you get to corporate, you realize, okay, in order to climb the corporate ladder, you must really continue to empower yourself. I have a degree and that's that. Yes, degree, okay, inside. But once you are inside, really, you need to empower yourself so that you eventually get to higher levels. So that's when I decided, you know what, I did other small courses in between, public management, you know, financial, in public finance. And then eventually I said, you know what, let me just go for my master's. Then I went for my master's in business administration. The plan was I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. But little did I know that I think God had other plans for me, you know. So as I was in corporate, I lost interest in being in corporate. I felt like, you know, I felt like I was in jail. I felt trapped. Like I always tell people that I was only happy ka payday. Payday, bona. Good, yes. But then throughout the month, I'm miserable. I felt like, no, man, this is not an environment for me. You are born, yes. That's when I decided to leave corporate. But remember, at that time, I already had my master's. So my master's helped me to even start other organizations like Victorious Girls Foundation, Kingdom Way Academy, Kingdom Ambassadors Movement. I do a lot of things, and what I love is to start an organization from scratch. And because with the masters you do so many things that has to do with organizational development, like your marketing. I can do my own marketing, I can do my own books, you know, I can write my own policies and procedures. You learn so many things that will help you to establish an organization from scratch, you see. So that helped me a lot to be where I am and to be doing the things that I'm doing. And of course, by the grace of God, I'm able to do all these things. But really, education is what helped me. Even if I was to hire an accountant, they will come in and help me, but I know, you know, you can't tell me anything. I'll know when they're doing things right or when they're doing things wrong.
I remember I had a conversation with Mtate Makube, and he was telling me that if you come to my church, you think you are good with a degree, but you get there's someone who has a honors, there's someone who's studying towards an MBA, there's someone who's
PhD.
looking a PhD. So also I feel like because we used to work with him and you at the same time,
Yes.
I also realized from how you always spoke about you, hey, man. Lynn, I think you got your MBA before him.
Yes.
And then he was telling me, your qualification is only a level 5. Some of us are going for a level 7.
Yes.
We're going level 8. So we keep on climbing this education ladder. So you must ensure you study as well. And also Debs was saying with what Masoha has, she can she would hire people because she can't do everything, but she can audit each and every department to say, okay, we need to see how far you are with this and how far you are with that. So in terms of falling out of lovely corporate, is it something we discover, like how long did it take for you to discover that no, it's not, or maybe it's the working environment or my colleagues, but it's the fact that I'm not in love with corporate at all, and I need to start, because but Babang, they would say I'm not in love with corporate because I feel like it's a someone else challenge, but I feel like it was different.
It was different. It was really different for me because when I started to work, okay, I worked for a small audit company, but just for a few months. And then I got bored, actually. And then I applied at a municipality, and then I got hired at the municipality as an intern. And what I loved about that is that, you know, I got to learn the whole how local government works, because I was an intern. 6 months I'm in this department, the next month I'm in that, so we would rotate. And then it was fun, actually. And at first I thought, okay, maybe I get bored easily, né? And then after about 24 months of the learnership, then I got absorbed into the internal audit department.
Yeah.
And then it went along fine. It was a new thing. And then after some time, I got bored. And I'm thinking, I got bored. And then I thought maybe it's the environment of government. You know, for those that have worked in government, they'll know what I mean. There's just some environment. I felt like I was not challenged enough. You know,
okay, it's more relaxed.
Yes, it's more relaxed. There isn't much of a challenge. And then I applied.
You're exposing those government guys now. Over there, it's just chillers.
Then I applied in one of the. Can I say names?
I think you can.
I can, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, then I applied at Sasol because I've always wanted to work for Sasol. Yo.
I think a lot of us.
Ne? Yo. I've always wanted to work for it, and then I applied and I got in, you know. And as I was working there, I was like, this is my dream. I love it. But this thing came back. Okay,
of being bored.
Of being bored, you
at
know.
Sasol, eh?
At Sasol, imagine being bored.
The dream job.
Yeah, the dream job, you know. And then, so I started to realize, oh no, man, it's not being bored. There's just something crazy, you know, that's happening, and I must really understand what it is. And I remember one day, there was a time I was still working for Sasol. I worked go Joburg, and Sasol at that time was still in
Rosebank.
Okay, yes, and Sasol was still in Rosebank. It was based in Rosebank, and I remember our parking area, we would park outside, and then it would be this big building, you know. And one day I was sitting, it was lunchtime, I'm sitting in the car looking at this beautiful building, and I felt a small voice saying,
leave.
No, this could be you.
Oh.
This could be yours.
Okay.
You know? because I've given you a vision, but you are pushing somebody else's vision, you know.
Okay.
I'm looking at this building, it's Sasol building, it's not my building, you know. So and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, wow, maybe it is time to start this thing. But it took quite long because I left Sasol, then eventually, you know, ended up go Tekma.
But then how would you, because for me, I started at Tekma. I want to see myself at Sasol or at a government job. But when it's like it's the opposite for you.
Yes, I guess it works differently.
Or maybe it was that thing that already at Sasol most of the things are already implemented, policies and procedures.
Yes.
So when you're going to a smaller company, you are going to now
start yes. Okay. And that was the fun thing about Tekma, you know, because it's starting things from scratch, you know, developing systems, developing processes. It was amazing. I think it's what I love to do. Okay. Hence, I've started all these.
Also, once it's functional, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, this is working enough. Yes,
I've done my part. Now let me move on. Yes. Okay. I think I'm that kind of a person, you know. So, where were we?
Moving from this place to the other.
Oh, that's how you ended up to Tekma.
Yes.
From Sasol.
Yes, from Sasol.
Or it did not begin immediately. After Sasol, he had to go to Tekma.
Of owning that building, yes.
Yes, of owning the building, yes. Yes, because I want to be very careful with the way I put things, because sometimes people will think, no, if I'm not feeling like this, then I must just quit and go. It starts on the inside, yes, but the rolling out takes time, you know. Because even before coming to Tekma, I worked at another company called Gold Rush, you know, just trying to find myself. As much as I knew exactly what is it that I want to start my own thing. I have this vision, but I could not just and start, you know, yes. So once I was at Tekma, then an opportunity presented itself with Victorious Girls Foundation, you see, where I was needed to be there on a full-time basis. So I had to make a choice. I felt like that is God saying, now this is it, you're going to go for it, or
corporate
or yes,
your
own thing, yes. Then I took a step of faith and I said, you know what, I think it's time. Let me pursue this thing here, Victorious Girls Foundation, because I've got so much love and passion for young girls, you know. And it's amazing. It started with young girls and now it's youth, and you know, so what I'm trying to say is that it's a build-up. You know, when things start inside of you, they start small, but keep feeding that thing, and then eventually it will come out, and it will eventually grow into what it needs to be.
But with the things that you've said, and then one day you say, or somebody says to me, Masoha is also an author. I'm thinking, maybe you're gonna write a book about corporate, you're gonna write a book about numbers, but you wrote a book about maybe faith. So I remember the first ever book I ever bought. It was a Love of a Father.
Yes.
And I didn't think, I remember I always made a joke with my friends, now I'm working with authors. This person, she's an author now, she's also, you are doing so many things. So I remember having that copy. Each and every year on Facebook I see that, okay, and then it's signed.
Yes.
So with the book, how did you then realize you can also venture? Okay, obviously you are able to develop things like systems, you are able to develop policies from scratch, which requires a lot in terms of what you put in it. But now with a book, how did that come about, and the idea how you can write a book? When it came about, did you already know which genre of the book you want?
You know, the book, I did not plan. I never woke up one day and said, I'm going to write a book. Yes. I think it was just a journey that I went through with God, where, you know, I've always been a Christian, but I've never been deeply rooted, yes. So how it started is, I think once I got married, and I started to see my husband just being so active with our children, loving them, being there, high body sports, you know, he's there, all activities he's there, and I got triggered because I grew up without experiencing that from my father. So when I got triggered, I started having just these things like, now why I never had a father in, and I went through a journey in that demo where he was saying, but I've always been there. I've always been your father.
Yeah.
I've always loved you. And this thing, the love of the Father, that's where it came out of. I started to do a lot of research about the love of God. What does it mean to me? You know, and I realized that the whole Bible is about the love of God. And it's about the love of God. And by the time I was done, I think it was a whole years of research. I had so much information, Rubes, like a lot.
So during that time you are doing the research, you are doing the research in mind, or I'm going to write a book?
No.
Or you just want to understand?
I just want to understand.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to understand. So at the end of it all, I'm like, yo, I've got so much information. You know, what am I going to do with this? And I always say, a still small voice inside of me said, write a book. You know, write a book about this. And I did not know, like I don't know any authors, but I started to do my research and I realized that no, there's this person that I know, this person connected me to another person, and I was like, no, I need to find a publishing company, and somehow I got to know a guy who said, no, you can actually self-publish. You can self-publish, you can do it yourself, then you can find a company that will be able to edit and then put the book together, do everything, print your book out, and then you can actually run with your own book. You don't have to find, because in finding a publication that will actually publish your book, it's very difficult, because they'll go through your book and they'll be like, it's not good enough. But you actually have an option to say, I will self-publish.
Yes.
And in that way, you own everything. You don't have to share your profits with anyone, because it's your work. Yes, which was also, I think I love challenges in life. You know, because it was a big challenge for me, and I was like, something different.
Writing a book, because you all wonder, how do I start?
Yeah.
Which are the first ways do I use to catch attention?
Exactly.
So it's very something a lot of people think about, but acting on it, it requires a lot of courage to say, now I'm gonna start writing. And with how the things with the book now, do you think you have achieved what you wanted with the information on Onaliwana? Because I understand that research it's very important to someone else. How I told I would understand. I'm sure the question that you are asking now, or that you were asking then, there's a lot of people they are asking it now. Why me? Why do I have to go through this? From at least when you saw it in your own household, and you're like, okay, this is good for me. Maria, it was not good for me then. From the neighbor side, why am I not having a father like this? Why is my family like this? So do you think it touched Batoboy touch, and are you happy with the way Buga turned out dealing at it?
You know, generally I'm happy, but I'm still yet to come out with even more. You know, since it was my first book, I was very careful to say, what will I say, what will I not say, but then there's still more inside of me that I feel needs to come out, especially when it comes to that journey of, especially a girl child. You know, I know of so many girl children out there who never experienced the love of their earthly fathers, you know. But at that time when I was writing it, I think I had one perspective. To mature, you kind of like see other perspectives, because now I'm realizing, as much as my dad was not there, there were reasons why he was not there, you know. Not to get like or what, but I always say when I talk to young people or even young girls to say, your parents were, if maybe your mom or your dad was not there for you, they tried to be the best parents they knew how to be.
Okay.
Yes.
With what they knew.
With what they knew, with what they had to work with. They never had a father figure.
Yes.
Therefore, now you know, they now have a child and they're supposed to become a father and they don't even know how. But also looking at, as much as sometimes how na ntate wa how au budisam, but God always makes a way, man. There's a father figure.
Around.
Not for me, it was my grandfather. You know, my grandfather, my uncles. There are people who will be there to play that fatherly role. So I think it's volume 2.
Okay.
Volume 2 coming.
And what I've realized, even if you can listen to a lot of gens, this thing recently, people that are empowered as compared to they are not given that much attention. Do you think this thing having the families whereby it's a single parent, do you think we are getting to a point, or we will ever get to a point whereby it's less of it? Because I know right now, at least with our generation, I've realized at least as Majida, right now we are trying by all means to be there.
Yes.
But I'm also scared that into this. And I'm thinking, if maybe it's women who do those initiatives, maybe Majida, because you guys are very compassionate, and some Majida utlwela batho ba bomme bohloko. And like sometimes I do again that so I'm like, yeah, mara wena ntatema nganna ka hlahisa dintho tse ke nanang hore o mbitha ka tsona, instead of trying to find out hore a ka nthusa jwang. But I'm thinking, if it's a woman who's doing it, maybe would be like, yeah, mara ish raflopa is Majida. Do you think maybe you can also step into that, because Angeri, you are coming with a volume 2.
Yes.
So maybe volume 2, I don't know. Chapter 1 chance, come on, man. You can do this thing. It's not that difficult.
Yes, definitely. And you know what, it's happening because we see it, Galona. You know, you are there. You are raising your family. You are there for your children. Therefore, the more of we see it within our communities, then we realize, no, this thing is possible. So I think we do need that. We need conversations as well, you know, to say, where did you lose it along the way? How do we come back, you know, to that family unit, to that family setup? Because as much as we want to try and build a nation, it's like a family. Yes. We can never say we are building this nation, the family is still broken. It starts with families. When we have functional families, we will have functional communities, and eventually we will have a functional nation. That's where it starts. And I think, you know, Roops, there's so much brokenness in our nation. Now that we're talking nation, there's so much brokenness. I mean, you see in our schools, you see with young people, you see with gender-based violence, there's so many things that are happening. And I truly, truly believe if the families could rise up and stand and be united in your families, then things will really become better in our nation.
And since we work at the families now, I think okay, naki anke hangata o to sheba motho lo reng o direction ya how, or like ha ke sheba family how ke dula ke sheba ntate Masoha, and I was telling Debs the other day, ntate Masoha so go dula le busy man, but bu busy mo ba hae, it's like o tseba ntho le ngwe ka bana ba hae, like o tla o jwetsa motho ona o jwang, motho ona o rata eng, and you would see the way ha dutse le bona ka teng, the way ba batlang ba haufinyana ka teng, or motho ona o blind. So family how it's one of those families how we share, you're like, yeah, ne, this is the dream family. Because most of the time I say hangata nka bonang wena o liwana, unless maybe it's an event e hloka wena o le mare, rather than that le ha e ke event maybe ntate Masoha le teng so I'm realizing in terms of family, you guys are doing good for us, because happy we need that thing as batho ba qalang di young families. So when I look at your family, I'm always like, yeah, this is the family that I would like to carry ours into, like in a way, or ke hole ka directioning. Obviously we are different people,
Yes.
but that there's a sort of a template and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So there's now I've seen you guys wear matching outfits and always they are printed or it's Kingdom Ambassadors. So with that how did that come about to now? Because I feel like ka jareteng se le wa bona le phatlalatsa in a way to say, guys, you can also do this with your families. You can have time for the family. Like I said, Tate Masoha is always busy, but somehow he finds time for the family as well, which is amazing. So how do you, like in terms of managing the family as a woman? I understand that you are busy as well. So both of you are busy, but your family it's tight. How do you do it?
Yes, you know firstly, it's really by the grace of God, without sounding cliche or anything like that. You know, we continue to be strengthened and to be one in our family. It's amazing because we both come from broken families, you know. My mom and dad, they separated. They've always been married, but at some point they separated. My husband's mom and dad, they separated, they divorced. So we come from broken families, but when we came together, we made a decision.
We're not carrying this.
Yeah, we're not carrying that. We are starting our own thing. What is it that we want? You know, what is the culture that we want? What is the vision that we want? And I think it's very important as the man of the home, you must know exactly what is it that you want for this family. Because I'm there to support.
Yes.
You know, I'm there to support. He needed to make it clear. And it was clear when he said, we are going to serve God. We are a family that is going to serve God. We are a family that's going to work for God. We are a family whether you like it or not, we are going to church, you know.
Because I've always wanted the last breakfast that we had. I really want to go back to church because before all of this, I used to go to church every Sunday. And today, as I was sitting there, I'm thinking, Kibona KAM and Hanrikena, they were singing. Tate Masoha was singing.
Wow.
And she was dancing. I'm like, okay, this is maybe why not? Because what am I doing during this 3 hours? And
sure.
I'm realizing, Lena maybe I join a Kingdom Ambassadors and
you see,
you know.
Yeah. So then that's how it came about to say, actually, when we are Kingdom Ambassadors, we are representing God.
Yes.
You know, in everything that we do, be it when we go out as a family, let's represent God. You know. Be it when we are doing our business stuff and things, because like you say, we are busy people.
Very busy.
We are busy people. But when it's time to come back and be with the family, we are with the family. For example, now I don't have friends, people that I can call friends, because I don't have time to invest in a friendship.
Okay.
I can be busy, got business stuff, it's ministry, it's family.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot. So I think we also understand each other. And one thing that I love about me and my husband is that his vision is clear. Then I make it clear to him, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to do, these are the conferences. Then we sit, we give each other space and time to say, no, we support our way. Because in everything, you know, what are the resources, finances, and all of that, after we are done with this one, let's take a break and then we move to you. You know, so we support each other in that way. And now our children are also growing, they're also discovering themselves. So we are in a season, exactly. Now we also need to support, yeah. So it's a lot, but having a clear vision, you know, where are you going? What legacy do you want to leave as a family? I think it's a very important thing that a family needs to ask themselves. So, what legacy we see in this world? Because one day we'll be gone.
Yes.
We will have our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and to me that's very important.
Yeah. So it's very clear, because I remember I was asked a question later, what is the family dream? And I was like, family dream? I know what's my dream.
Yes.
I know her dreams.
Her dream.
But a family dream, it's new. So
Sure.
I feel like it's such things that we need to be aware of. Don't just be a family and just live every day without achieving anything. So once you have that dream, it's much easier for you to achieve certain things. So in terms of okay, I've got 2 questions there, but the other one is just a brief answer, I believe.
Okay.
Or how did the name Kingdom come about? Ne? And then in terms of now, there's 2 kingdoms. Well, it's one kingdom, but there's 2 entities using the same word, kingdom. Yes, there's Kingdom Way Academy. So that's the first one. After you answer, why did you choose the word kingdom?
Well, the word kingdom came about when it was part of the journey of trying to get to understand who God is, the love of the Father.
Yes.
And I realized, okay, God, as much as God is God, but God is a king.
Yes.
Ne? He's a king and he has a kingdom. And as children of the kingdom, we are there as citizens of the kingdom. So when it came about to say, how do you represent yourself, then we're saying we are representing the kingdom of our Father, who is king, and we are here as his kingdom representatives, as his citizens. So that is where the word kingdom came from, because I started to do a lot of research about the kingdom of God, the government of God, how does it work in this world? Because as much as, yes, we are in this world, where do we come from? And those who believe in God will say we come from him, you know. We are here on a kingdom assignment. And I can get my assignment to in fact, all of us once we are done,
so hence it's important to leave a legacy.
Exactly.
And it's also important to do that volume 2, because it sounds like there's so much information. So now there's Kingdom Way Academy, which is doing extremely well. Maybe I'm even jealous for why kids are doing so, because I feel like I need my kids to touch base.
Yes.
So I always feel, honestly, I always tell them, so it's so far. And that academy, I feel like it's really a need for Banabarona. So how did that come about, and what is it that you do on the academy?
So Kingdom Way Academy actually came in the middle of COVID. In the middle of COVID, it was a time where I was really not working, so I was at home, and then it was during that time they are at home. I'm just feeling so overwhelmed. WhatsApp messages. I'm like, yo, this is so much work. But hey, at least I'm there, I'm helping the kids. And then I thought, you know what, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's feeling this. There are other parents, especially those who are working, because there were some who would work from home.
There's noise.
Exactly, there's noise. It's just too much for them. I literally started with a poster. I created my own poster to say, Kingdom Way Academy. Okay, Kingdom Way Academy, it's more of let's raise children who are conscious of the fact that they were created by God.
Yes.
And they are here for a purpose, basically, And then I created a poster, I sent it out there, and believe you me, by the end of the month we had 6 children.
Oh, nice.
Then we started in my mother's back room. You start small. Make sure that your costs are small. Yes. Because a lot of us, we've got big dreams and big. It doesn't start like that. You start small. So by the end of the year, we had about, I think, 20 kids.
Oh, nice.
Then at least my mom
by the end of that
year.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I think we started come March, April, around there. Yes. So by the end of that year, we had about 15 kids. Then my mom had a container unit.
Yes.
So then we moved in there.
Into the
container, yes. And then it grew and grew and grew to a point that now we've got our own property.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Shout out. That's great.
Yes.
And how long has it been now?
It's been 4 years.
4 years.
Since we started.
Oh,
It's
nice.
been 4 years. So the ultimate vision is to have a school, to have a private school. But then we thought, you know what, yes, let's start with the aftercare and then venture into a preschool, and then it will grow like that until we get it to be a school. So
nice.
A private school, an affordable private school, because you know how expensive private schools are.
I think now you need to move to Sasol. A private school.
It's going to be a private school,
hey.
you know. It's going to be a private school because I honestly have issues with our education system, the government education system. We are moving in times here, the fourth industrial revolution, and I feel like our children you know, yes. So we want to have an environment that is raising leaders and children that can think outside the box, creativity, you know, working with their own hands. Like children who they were not created to be academics.
Yes, true.
But when it comes to working with their hands, you know,
doing extremely well.
Exactly. So we want to create a school that will accommodate both, you know, so that our children can really become who God created them to be, not who we want them to be.
Yes.
Because sometimes we put pressure. So yes, that's the vision for the academy.
So what is it that, because there's a preschool now, ne? And also the aftercare.
Yes.
So go aftercare. I don't know if I should say curriculum or maybe modules to lead, but what happens go the aftercare?
Okay.
If there's a parent who's like, okay, maybe I must try this one since I can solve myself. What is it?
So go aftercare. Basically, we focus more on the work that they come with from school because they will have homework.
Yes.
We assist them with homework, and then we do what we call identifying the learning gaps, because there are kids by long they've got learning gaps, and she's not able to do that. Yes. So we sit with every child and try to see, okay, because some kids they are like, I'll make an example with my son. My son is very good in all subjects, but mathematics he struggles. So
and it's funny because you're catching the numbers.
So then we need to sit with him and do one-on-one. So that's what we do. Then we and show them step by step. And believe you me, we see so much improvement in those kids. Some they are just struggling with spelling, some they're struggling, whatever subjects that they're struggling with, we help them with that.
So do you have like educators, or you are the one who's doing all of the work?
We've got assistants. We call them assisting teachers.
Assistant teachers.
Assistant teachers. We call them assistant teachers. Yes, we've got assistant teachers who will actually teach. Like, you know, a lot of work after King. People think, okay, it's just homework and then we just look after them and that's that. No, our aftercare, we teach.
Okay.
We teach, we do tutoring, we sit with your child and we will teach them the work. Highly do oral, we teach them an oral. And they must know it from the head, you know, they must be prepared. So we go all out for our learners to make sure they get the best experience out of their learning journey. Even the projects. Last week Friday, we do projects with the learners. We help them. So it's a nice environment for children to also explore and discover themselves as well. You know.
And now you've done that and it's doing so good. And recently we saw Kingdom Ambassador movement. And I'm like, hey, this Kingdom thing is big. What's next? I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of organization or entities or companies in the word Kingdom. So with the movement now, the ambassadors movement, I saw a lot of people more and each and every one of them have introduced or one lady accolades tsa hae di teng mo. I'm like, mona ziyakhala mona, something is big. So with that one, what is the direction that you are taking with the ambassador movement? So far, what is it that you have achieved from what you want?
So with Kingdom Ambassadors movement, we are saying it's a movement. We realize that but age, there's a lot of issues that we have. Number one, it's unemployment.
Oh, that one.
Unemployment rate, I mean, to think of it, we just for young people, it's about 60%.
Yes, over 50.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sense.
It's crazy to think that more than half of young people are sitting and they are not working. It's crazy. And the young people, we work at the future generation of our country. So
who's working? Because I believe also the youth is more than
exactly.
So who's working?
You know, it doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah.
funny. It doesn't make sense. So we were saying, Rona, as young people, we need to be actively involved in the future of our country. Be it at government, be it in your community, be it in starting businesses, but we need to be involved.
Yeah.
If we sit back and we say government must come and help us, we've
no
been sitting for 30 years.
There's no way.
30 years. The land.
Oh.
The land is not here.
Imagine now what you can do with Kingdom Way,
you know,
Academy.
yes. But now you see, we are still fighting. We're still fighting. But we're saying, as young people, let us structure ourselves.
Yeah,
you know, through this movement, we are truly hoping we're gonna start in Metsimaholo, and then Fezile Dabi, then Free State Province, then the country as a whole. We really want young people to be active and to be involved in their communities. And so far, we've done so many great community projects. One of them is we've got this project, Bizanki Matric Empowerment Program. So around March, April, we went to high schools where we were just reminding my matrix to say it's almost time to apply. The application to Tokwala end of August. You must prepare yourselves.
Yes.
You know, let's get ready. And then we went back. You know, sometimes groups because we're not gonna have the internet, the laptop. You think everybody has, not everyone has.
A lot of people don't.
Exactly. So we would go to different high schools and set up, and then invite the matriculants to say, "Come, let us help you apply." Because a lot of our young people, my matric, ba emela January until atola statement. Okay, guy, what late kana kwe?
Yes.
And
sometimes they did well.
Exactly, they did well, and now they must just settle for whatever comes. But when they're settling for crumbs, whereas they could have just planned things properly. So we are trying to be proactive and say the solution is education. Get educated, there are two solutions. It's either you get educated or you work with your hands with other business. There's no in between. You won't be able to survive, without the two. So you must make a choice. Are you going to be in the academics space, or are you going to start your own business? And we are really hoping things will change in our community. Our slogan is building thriving communities. We don't want to build communities fail, and they must thrive, they must be successful, they must be fruitful. We must see the change. Not only potholes, every single day potholes. Like, you know, back then it would be okay, how move to another lane with oncoming, but you are in the wrong lane. Now we understand, or maybe you are avoiding a pothole this side.
And it's funny because I remember the first ever Gitola ticket. I got a ticket, and on the ticket it said, my tires are not good. They can damage the road. And I'm like, really? they are like this because of the road.
Exactly.
So it's quite funny, and there's so many services still at this point. Rona is maybe as the youth we can involve ourselves in and try by all means at least to fight them with what we can. So in terms of now, I'm unemployed. I'm in the area of Sasolbeck, and I'm like, okay, since now there's an opportunity for me to be active, how do I join Kingdom? Is then like an opening or whether to volunteer or to offer services or just to join and they will find whatever to
We actually have a program now. It's open. It's called Raising Young Leaders.
Okay.
Applications are open. The 6th of September. You can just go on our Facebook page and you will find all the information there. It's going to be a 9-month program. Next year, January. We are very intentional to say we are raising leaders.
Leaders, yes.
It's a leadership program where we want to raise leaders who will even eventually one day go into politics, into whatever it is that they would want to venture into. So it's currently open. They can go to our we've got an Instagram page, we've got Facebook, Kingdom Ambassadors Movement. Okay. They can just go there and all the information is there.
So with in terms of now, you have people that are already part of. Are you only looking at people in Sasolburg, or if I'm in Gauteng, Lena from Orange Farm or Soweto, I can also say I would like to be part of. Or right now you are only focusing on the
on Metsimaholo. No, okay. Our primary goal is Metsimaholo, but it's open to anyone, because obviously we have to start somewhere. We are starting here.
Yes.
Like I said, eventually we want to go into the whole country.
Yeah.
So if maybe you are in Soweto and you say, I love this thing, you can, connect us, connect with us. And then we can even see how can we start something there, empower you so that maybe you can start something there already with other group of young people as we are empowering you. So that's how I believe it will grow. So we don't want to just limit ourselves to Metsimaholo only. So you might find that you are sitting in Sebokeng or wherever it is, Orange Farm, and you're saying, I want to be part of this, I love this thing that you're doing. Connect with us and let's see how we can bring the programs into your space.
Then there's so many things that you do. How do they connect? Like, for instance, there's also Victorious Girls. Does it have any connection maybe with Kingdom Way Ambassador? Do you have find yourself in a way whereby you are saying this business and this business at this point they want to work together? With
Victorious Girls Foundation, when we started, like I said, it's focused on women, it's focused on young girls, but eventually we found ourselves being in the performing arts space.
So it's growing.
Yes. It's growing. And then now with Kingdom Ambassadors Movement, it is for young people, but all these young people can also come into the arts. So like that, yes. So it's a beautiful marriage that goes with them.
And then with Victorious Girls, what is it? I remember there was a sanitary towel campaign. But I believe there's so many things. So in terms of that, because your name is
Victorious.
So you already know how the name come about.
Yes.
But what is it, Elohim? Are there any active campaigns right now? Other girls, how can they get in contact with the organization as well?
So we used to have what we call the Girls Talk, where we would come together with girls within the community and empower them. But then we realized that we are empowering the girls, but what about the boy child?
Exactly. That's what I was asking.
What about the boy child?
We are always left out.
So when it comes to the empowerment part of things, because it's young people, it's now Kingdom Ambassadors Movement that will be looking at that. But with Victorious Girls Foundation, we are still continuing. We manufacture reusable sanitary towels.
Oh, nice.
Which have we manufacture.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we manufacture. And that has also created even jobs for unemployed women within the community. Our sanitary towels have been tested and they comply with SABS, by the way.
Nice. So, but obviously you would know the right ways of following compliance because of the education.
Exactly, yes. So we continue with that. We continue with maybe just going to schools and just encouraging the girls on how to conduct yourself as a girl child. We do a lot of menstrual health and hygiene. especially with teenage girls who are just coming into that space. They don't know what they need to do. So we also educate young girls in terms of that.
So what's your position for Victoria? Because now there's also a manufacturing part. So meaning the business is no longer about detoxify.
It's also about manufacturing.
If you say you're doing trainings again for menstrual health, that means that's another division as well. So what is your position? Even go academy, because I'm thinking maybe principal.
Okay, so Go Victorious Girls Foundation, I'm the managing director.
Okay.
Yes, that's my role here. And then Go Kingdom Ambassadors Movement, I'm the president of the movement. Hallelujah. So, I'm president. And then Go Kingdom Way Academy, I'm also the managing director. I am actually managing the whole organization. Okay. So, yes, very soon we're going to have like a principal, all that, the administrator. Yeah. We're still the whole exactly, yes. But I'm more managing. I'm managing director. I report directly to the directors of the companies.
Oh, nice. So now, for those who don't know, Masoha also, I feel like but also she's a model. Am I right saying that?
Yes.
Because I remember there's Mrs. South Africa.
Yes.
And you were doing so well there. I remember seeing Batu dressed up. We are going to support Masoha. People were buying clothes. I'm like, hey, Masoha is a very powerful woman. So in terms of Mrs. South Africa, like, where did you find even the time? Because I think that was during that time whereby you wrote a book as well.
Yes, it was during the time when, it was actually after the book. Yes, it was after, it was about, because I wrote the book I remember we released it in 2015. Then I went for Mrs. South Africa in 2018. Yes. You know, and a lot of people were like, "Hi, you also model?" And I'm like, "Yes." I mean, I back in the days, Roops.
Yeah.
I used to enter like Miss Mfuleni. I became first princess. Miss VUTFM. I was first princess. You know, I've always done these community smallanyana pageants, and then when I came across the Mrs. South Africa pageant and I went through it, and it was more of, it wasn't just focused on beauty and all of it, was focused on empowering women. You know, women who are doing great in their communities, and I thought, let me just go for this.
Because you're already doing
I was doing I was doing quite a lot of community projects at that time, and you know, I went for it, and oh, what a beautiful experience. It required a lot of work.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
It required so much work. You know, we had to raise funds, we had to do so many things, but it empowered me so much to get into that space and realize, because we were with different, it was taking place in Joburg. And we were with different women who are doing different things across the country. And when you are amongst people like that, you actually realize that anything is possible. Yeah. You know, how do you in your own little corner in the Free State or in the Val, you're like, nothing. But once you get there, you're like,
get inspired.
Yes, it inspired me a lot. I learned so much, even about just being confident and putting yourself out there. You know, you are not being arrogant. You're not just making people aware of, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And I'm here to make a change in my environment. And it was truly amazing. I learned a lot. I never got to the final stage. I made it until the semi-finalists, but truly it's an experience that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
It was nice.
It was wonderful. It was amazing. It even taught me about the power of social media, the power of the sesh. You know, wearing that sash, I would go anywhere. I would go to the municipality and be like, I'm here to see the mayor.
And then
they'd be like, okay, come in. So there is truly, we've got power. You don't need to wait for a sash. You don't need to wait for a crown. You already have the power. We're not just find a vehicle of how are you going to do things. Be it business, be it in corporate, be it whatever it is you want to do. you really have the power to achieve anything you want in life.
So with that experience and that whole knowledge that you've gathered from the organization, Mrs. South Africa, and now you have an organization, Victorious Girls. Do you think that at some point we will see Miss Victorious Girls? Or I think Miss Victorious will be much better, and then maybe we can see Mr. Kingdom Ambassador because we need to balance.
I don't think so. I think as much as I love beauty pageants, generally an element of, that element of just focusing on the beauty, know, and it makes other people feel like maybe I'm not beautiful enough. Now I don't have the figure, I don't have this. Some people have got issues with even where you must wear a swimwear, it's like you're just revealing too much or what. There's just too much around it that I feel like it's not a space that I would want to go to.
It's not motivating
everyone. Yes.
It's only selected to a certain...
You see?
So it's not something that we can see in the future.
No.
Unfortunately. And then now there's also an event that you do. I don't know if I should call it an event but I think it is an event whereby you have this mother and daughter. I don't know if it's conversation or I remember we once catered for one. I think so. We were preparing food and I was telling Debs that it's this thing is very good. I wish you were in Masoha-Dinako
sons and fathers and sons.
But now that I don't have a son, now it's fine. When you can go with the girls. So with that one, I feel like it's also something good because oftentimes we think but they are not involved, but there are also maybe mothers that are just there. They don't understand banababona. They don't even care to try to even figure the kids out. So I feel like that organization somehow it helps because now if I'm a woman and I'm here with my daughter and I'm listening to what other women are doing or how they do things, maybe after that one session something might change and by the time we go home I will implement something new. Okay, maybe let me have a conversation with this person. So that one, how is it going? Is it annually or you do it maybe twice a year?
We did it once a year.
Okay.
And let me start by saying where it all came, how it all came about. We used to have those girls talks. Like we would say, hey, girls can talk, girls can. We would talk about everything under the sun. But I realized that most of the time, all the girls, every time where they would be like, my mom doesn't understand me. My mom doesn't have time for me. The relationship between the mother and the daughter was just not there. And that's when we decided, let's have this annual conference where the mothers and the daughters will come together under one roof, And so we've been having it now for 7 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 7 years.
You're waking me.
It's been 7 years. But now, I'm in a transition. I'm in a transition. Yes, Victorious Girls Foundation it's still there and it was a good platform. But I'm in a transition where my heart is for the whole family unit.
Okay,
not just mothers, daughters, not just girls, but let's work on this family unit. Maybe going forward, we would have things like you were saying, fathers and daughters, fathers and sons, and then eventually have a big conference where it's a family event, make family fashionable. Make family fashionable. So I'm still I'm in a transition. I'm trying to recoup myself and just see how are we going to move forward and incorporate everything under one roof.
That's so is it on pause at the moment?
Yes, it's on pause at the moment.
Ah, snap, man. I'm sure Masoha, please.
The last one that we had was this year in March. Yes, it was this year in March. But Roops, when God is trying to just show you a bigger picture, there's this bigger picture, And for now, I don't even want to say exactly which direction are we taking, but there's a bigger picture, and I just want to bring everything into that picture.
Mara, next year there's something that we can expect.
Definitely.
Maybe then we will be part of
Yes,
as well.
most definitely. Without Bona, definitely.
No, we are very happy to have you. Like I said, when I spoke to Puleng, I couldn't think of any other person Aka would be. I know you are how much this thing, but it's something that once in a while you guys enjoy. I see, but I only had 2 classes, it's still there. I'm gonna have another class again, but with this one, we'd like to say thank you very much for firstly allowing to do this, making it happen. I mean, we are using everything now. So thank you very much. We really appreciate you as a woman, as a mother, and also as a like I was saying, a lot of us are looking into your family and thinking, if we can be like this, or if we can have this, take this template and apply it into our lives. A lot of mothers, they see how you raise your kids and they're like, yo man, bana ba me Masoha ba the way ba linkating because of ntotse di kenya ho bona le ntate Masoha. There's also the way o leng mekating or nkareng a wife to ntate Masoha. I'm sure le gona ga tshore okay wa bona if mosadi wa ka tshwara this direction, I'm sure a lot of things di tla ba right. So there's so many people bo lo reng ha ba sheba your life, they are like there's something e lo reng ba ka inka, and le gona we feel like we can have more of these conversations. We can have you on the show. We can always call you to say if we're having something, it has to do about girls, it has to do about education, it has to do about maybe corporate, because you've been in that space as well. We can easily call you and say, Masoha, we need advice with this. How can you step in and help? So Dinako Wine's Timeline Radio and also The Morning After has this little wine for you to enjoy.
Thank you so much.
And to have a good time. Maybe I would thinking about what to do next for us while sipping on something at least. So really, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the work that we are doing, and we're hoping next year we can come to you and say, Masoha, we are failing to find someone like you. Please, can you help us? Because there's so little of so not like Habayo, maybe because when we are not that exposed as you are, maybe when you will help us to say, okay, I would like to say, do with me, mama.
Wow.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to keep this as a souvenir.
Abash.
Yes, it's going to be a souvenir.
And then in closing, Jay, is there anything, Elohim, maybe we didn't talk about that you would like other people to know? Or, okay, this is something else, or this is something that you must watch out for?
I think, from my side, you'll be seeing more of this face.
Okay. Shout out.
Going forward into 2026.
2026.
Yes, you must ask yourself what is happening. No, I'm still going to be there. But going into 2026, you are going to be seeing more of this face and more young people just rising up, taking our rightful position in this democracy of our country. Kinako.
Like
What
you did.
It is, I'm advocating more for young people standing, young people taking that position. I was making an example the other day to say our president is in his 70s. Our deputy president is in his 60s. Where are the young people?
In Parliament,
you see,
the only party that is trying, not the only party, but one of the parties that has been trying to put more young people is the EFF.
It's the EFF.
But we need more.
We need more. We need more. Yeah. We need more groups. So be on the lookout.
All right. I know we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.